Hey guys, how is it going? This is the start of week 15 vlog, so welcome. My name is Brooke and this is Seed to Plate channel where I show you all of my garden adventures and hopefully someday how that translates into my kitchen. So week 15 is starting off very exciting. I was kind of in like a funky mood this morning. I don't know what was going on, but I decided to, over my work lunch break, go to my community plot and plant some zinnias. Last week I went through all of the varieties of flowers that I'm planting, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out. So I went and planted a bunch of zinnias and I was like feeling better and feeling like good, and I started walking out and I noticed that there was a tray of free plants, and a lot of the times, because we're a community garden, we'll get plant donations from either people like hobbyists who just started too many plants. They'll kind of drop off their weaker ones that maybe they couldn't sell, or even nurseries will sometimes give us free plants. So anyways, free plants. I usually don't take them because I start so many of my own plants, but I always go look at what they have, and today I picked one, and that's because if you can read that, it'll focus. It won't focus. That says Brad's Atomic Grape. So Brad's Atomic Grape, I'll put a picture of it over here. Brad's Atomic Grape is a very unique type of tomato. And if there's one thing I love, it's a unique tomato. Oh, I have no idea where I'm gonna put it, but it's very puny, it's very sad looking. Here's the plant. It's got the yellow on the undersides of the leaves. I've talked about that before. That indicates like a heavy nutrient deficiency. So it's got that on a lot of the leaves. And because I didn't grow this myself, I have no idea what it was grown in. I have no idea what kind of care that this plant has received. So I thought I would show you guys both the free plant. It's just so small and puny and sad looking. But if there is a challenge that I love, it is rescue plants. I have a thing for rescue plants, just like I have a thing for rescue dogs. Figure that one out. So I have a spare pot here. This pot had my tulips in it. I just ripped my tulips out because they weren't doing anything anymore. So I'm gonna make a nice little hole for that. I'm gonna go ahead and pinch this leaf off just with my fingers, so we can take that guy off, and then I'm gonna plant this really deep, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of liquid fertilizer and water it, because it's pretty clear that it's got a nutrient deficiency because of the purple leaves. So let's take a look at what the roots look like. I can already see there's a worm resting in the bottom of here. This is not a great sign. Alright, so we got some good root development. So there's some good root development in there. Maybe it just ran out of space. But I'm gonna dig a nice deep hole for it in this pot, which I know you can't really see. We're gonna get that down in there. So I do love me a rescue plant. There's something about like bringing it back to health and it having potential. But here's our rescue plant. It's gonna be our rescue tomato. So because it is so small, it's probably gonna produce like way later than all of my other tomatoes, but that's fine. Like I said in my last video, I have a very, very long growing season. You can actually get tomatoes to produce twice here. So once it consistently hits over 90 degrees, they'll start dropping their blossoms. But if you can keep those plants alive through the super hot season, you can actually get a second round of tomatoes in the fall. Not sure if I'm going to do that yet. We'll see. Also, I talked about this in a kind of like a how-to video, kind of like breaking down fertilizer. I do use liquid fertilizer in like a, we'll call it an emergency plant situation. I would consider this an emergency plant situation. Liquid fertilizer is not for everyone. It is not organic, but in a situation like this where the plant is suffering and the plant is not healthy, liquid fertilizer is going to be uptaken by the roots the fastest. So we are going to give it a little bit of liquid fertilizer, and it's got lots of room to grow now, whereas it did not have lots of room to grow. I'm not sure if it's gonna be able to like live in this pot full time. I'm not sure, but we are going to find out. So, all right, week 15, starting off super fun with free plants. That's the kind of plants I like. It's free ones. All right, we'll see you in a few days. Hey guys, how is it going? So today, it's time to put up the tomato trellises, which I don't know why. This is like one of my least favorite things to do. I think I just love the way that the tomato plants look without, you know, having to have supports. But they're getting very large, and we're supposed to have rain on and off for the next week, and it's been warm, which means these tomatoes have like completely taken off in the best way possible. But today I'm going to be putting up just like some standard tomato trellising. But I just wanted to show you how pretty this bed looks before I ruin it with a bunch of plastic stakes. Guys, look at this. So here's the funny thing. The marigolds I planted in this section are African crackerjack marigolds, and they were the only ones that I started at the same time. I started all the tomatoes, so they were already pretty big. These marigolds, obviously I direct sowed, and they're much smaller, and they're basically shaded. And only a few of them came up, so I've got to figure out how to fill in these holes, because that looks so beautiful and green and luscious, and then this doesn't. So, but this guy is getting closer and closer to opening by the day. It's gonna be really pretty. So we're gonna do some collapsible trellises here. I have a ton of options when it comes to tomato trellising. Hi Cooper. Cooper, you wanna say hi, boy? You wanna say hi? Oh, he's the garden guardian. He lays out here and protects the garden. Yeah, boy. So you've got a lot of options when it comes to tomato trellising. What people are used to are the tomato cages, and those are perfectly fine options. I will actually be using tomato cages at my community garden plot because they're just easy to take in and out of there, and yeah, that's just what I'm doing. So you've got tomato cages. A lot of people will put up like a big cattle panel and tie the stems to there. I almost did that back here, but because my bed backs up to a fence, I wouldn't have a way of accessing the other side of the cattle panel if there was fruit growing on there. And then I also have a row of tomatoes in grow bags. I also have a row of tomatoes in grow bags that go along the back of our house. And I think what I'm gonna do for these is I am actually going to do what's called the Florida weave. So I will show you that this week when I do it. But basically you set up poles, like tall poles, which I haven't decided if I want to get some really tall bamboo poles or if I want to do, I think the T-posts I've got are too short. So I think I'm going to get some bamboo poles, stick them in the ground, and then you weave string, and that's how you support the growing plants. So we're going to be doing a lot of things to get these tomatoes supported because they're getting very big, like 2 feet tall big, all of a sudden. It's so funny, my plant seems so big until I put these like 5 or 6 foot trellises on them, and then they seem so small. The funny thing is, by the time they get like as tall as they're gonna get, they're gonna be 2 feet higher than those trellises. Okay guys, so got 4 done, got 8 to go. It's really hot out here. So I think I'm gonna stop for now. We've got a thunderstorm rolling in tonight. That's why it's like so hot and humid and disgusting out. I've just got one more really big tomato to get staked up before we have a storm tonight, and then the rest of them should be totally fine. So I'm going to go inside and get cooled off, but we will continue to talk about tomato trellising later this week once it's cooled down. I finished getting all of my trellising put up, so I wanted to show you. My plants don't look as big now. But I wanted to show you why I like these trellises. Children playing across the street. These trellises were actually a pandemic purchase because last year when I was gardening, I didn't know if it was safe to go get tomato cages at Home Depot. So I got these on Amazon. It's a pack of 5. Don't remember how expensive they are. But I got the taller ones and they seem to work out pretty good. So let me show you. Oh, here's a good example. This lovely tomato is a red Brandywine, and I think they call this a potato leaf variety. That's why it looks like potato leaves. But these are the poles. So there's 3 poles per plant, and then they're connected by these plastic things that connect to each other. So what I like about these plastic things is because they're removable, you can move them or even just put one depending on what your plant needs. So if there was a fruit forming right there where there's a blossom and that fruit needed support, I could put an extra one of these here to support the plant. And then as the plant gets taller, you can move them up. That's probably what I will do with this plant. And yeah, but my tomato bed does look sufficiently uglier. I'll say that much. But that's okay. Honestly, soon enough, these tomato plants will be like all the way up here. And then I also put them in my grow bags. So here are my grow bags. And then this one is probably my tallest tomato. This is a pear tomato. I don't know if it's a red or yellow pear. We will find out soon enough, but it is a pear and it's nice and tall. So the plan for these guys is to do a Florida weave situation, which honestly I have to do like this week because some of these plants are just getting so big. And honestly, this is another Brandywine that I might have messed it up. I went to go pinch off a sucker and I think I scarred the plant, which I'm really bummed about. So yeah, we'll see if this one survives. The leaves look pretty healthy, but we will see. So I will show you later this week how I do the Florida weave, and then I'm really thinking I might just order more of these types of trellises for my community plot because they're mostly just really easy to transport because they fully break down. I would say this was 15 tomato plants. I think this took me, gosh, maybe like an hour to put all this together today, so it really doesn't take that long. But yeah. Alright, I'll catch up with you later in the week. Hey guys, how's it going? Wanted to close out this vlog with a small cliffhanger. I'm gonna explain to you what I did. So I went to, I went to Home Depot to try and get some taller T-posts. They were out, Lowe's was out. I didn't know what to do, so I bought these like taller wooden stakes. Oh, that bird's awful. And I dug them into the ground. They are not as sturdy as I want them to be. So I have to figure out what my next move is.
which I haven't been able to do all week. So that'll be on next week's vlog, and we'll talk about the Florida weave on next week's vlog. But let me show you what this looks like now. So here's my row of tomatoes. Here's a very tall stake. So I dug it into the ground probably by a foot, but it is just not sturdy, and neither is the other one. This is likely going to turn into a weekend project for me because I just have a lot going on this week. So come back next week to see how I solve this problem, and also to see how everything gets trellised with the Florida weave. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and happy gardening.